Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to you all to this session on how can a WOP boost your career as a water professional. My name is Franziska Volk, and on behalf of the Congress host GWOPA at UN Habitat, I'm happy to send greetings from the UN campus in Bonn in Germany to our worldwide Congress participants. We are in day 8 of the Congress today. So you probably had the opportunity to hear about a number of WOPs between utilities already. In this session today, we will zoom in to the individual level and explore the value of WOPs for individuals working for water utilities. I am very happy to welcome a nice round of smart and experienced speakers and panelists today who have participated in WOPs as mentors as well as mentees. Let me briefly share the overview with you here. We will also take a step beyond the WOPs. We go beyond the day-to-day interaction between WOP partners, who are the utilities, and explore WOP practitioners' online communities, where interaction, networking, coaching, and learning between individuals can continue and can be intensified. We will hear about the Waterworks WOP practitioners online community and future opportunities to connect ourselves as individuals within a newly established online global WOP community. For your best event experience, I would like to mention 3 technical aspects. First, you can join the participant on your right side. If you're joining the chat for the first time, you're required to sign in, and we encourage you to do that using your either email or social media account. Second, we do offer simultaneous interpretation in English, French, and Spanish. You can also select that on the right side through the live translation button. In case if it doesn't work immediately, just try refresh the page. It should work eventually. Lastly, please also complete our survey feedback on the bottom of the page. This will give us very valuable feedback as we continue to improve the sessions and the Congress. So without further ado, I'm now handing over to the first speaker of the session today, Tonje Ramaker. Tonje recently took the position of CEO within WE. Congratulations to that. And in the past 8 years, he has served as a resident of WE in Mozambique and Zimbabwe. Tonya, we're looking forward to hearing from you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Franziska. Today I will focus on the positioning of individuals in water operator partnerships. And positioning individuals should be read as individuals as employees of utilities. And the positioning is actually twofold. One way is the contribution of utility employees to the success of WOPs, but on the other hand, how utility employees can profit from working in WOPs as done by VI, for example. A short introduction to VI, formerly known as Vitens Evides International. We operate from the Netherlands, where we form a not-for-profit vehicle of 6 Dutch public water utilities, who have a shared turnover of about 1 billion euro, a very low non-revenue water percentage, 6 to 7%. They have about 3,500 employees and more than 100,000 kilometers of network. And they serve 13.6 million customers in the Netherlands. And they almost produce 1 billion cubic meters of water annually with a tariff of €1.33. These 6 Dutch water utilities, those public water utilities, they basically established VI to share their expertise with colleague water operators around the world. And this is actually embedded in the Dutch drinking water law, which states that about 1% of the turnover can be used for what we call CSR, corporate social responsibility programs, like sharing knowledge worldwide with operators in water operator partnerships. And they do that, of course, to contribute to the SDG 6 goal to contribute to reliable and affordable drinking water and sanitation services for all. As I said, VEI promotes and implements water operator partnerships since 2004, where we focus on utilities in Africa, Asia, and also some in Southern America, to support them to address the challenges like increasing water demand, water quality issues, water shortage, of course, induced by climate change impacts. VEI currently is active in 18 countries worldwide, and we collaborate with 55 utilities, mainly in sub-Saharan Africa, but also some in Southern America, as I said, and about 5 or 6 in Asia. Um, Apart from working in water operator partnerships, which is mainly focused on training, technical capacity building, we also directly invest through funding to physical infrastructures in wash infrastructures, and we achieve about 365,000 SDGs per year, which is basically real work on the ground where people receive water and sanitation services. Um, One of our um, ways of working, actually, it's a theory of change in the water operator partnerships that we have worldwide, is that we are convinced that utility performance, and with utility performance, I mean like low non revenue water levels or production capacity or collection efficiency, will only be achieved through improving the maturity of working processes. And that means that we have a certain number of working processes in a utility. We even identified about more than 100 sub-working processes that should be addressed and improved, the maturity of those working processes, to achieve water utility performance improvement. And we are using the utility turnaround framework that has been developed by the World Bank, and which we also improved later on in our projects. And to achieve those step ups in maturity of working processes, the employees, the individuals, as in my title of the presentation, the employees of water utilities are key. Um, we need utility employees to be engaged, to learn, and to contribute to the improvement of the maturity of those working processes, eventually leading to improved utility performance. And our WOP approach in all our projects, we focus on the capacity building of utility employees. We do that on the individual level, through working what we call in a peer-to-peer model, where experts from Dutch water utilities collaborate hand in hand, peer-to-peer, as we call it, with experts and utility employees wherever in the world. We also offer courses and trainings, also abroad, with IHE, for example. But we also work on the organizational level by jointly, again, with the individuals and the employees, on improved procedures and organizational change. And one step up is that we also address the enabling environment, where we support senior management, for example, in leadership issues, um, development of tariff models, and also addressing new policies. So in all three steps, the individual, the organizational, and the enabling environment, we support the individuals, the employees, to improve the maturity of those working processes. Um, and we are working currently also in our future projects to further um, improve what we call the peer-to-peer support, where experts, utility employees work next to each other and share best practices and implement concrete solutions. So We are building teams around certain topics, for example, non-revenue water, where this peer-to-peer model is being applied. But we also want to seize the opportunity, also induced by COVID crisis, of course, to combine physical visits in the field, doing measurements, improving on the ground, with online interactions using the online platforms. But we want to go one step further, and we are also implementing that currently, where we identify champions from partner utilities, for example, from Malawi in Lilongwe, and deploy those champions in other WOPs in the country, in Malawi, or in the region, for example. And this is just an example, but this will be applied worldwide to further capacitate the individuals, the utility employees, in becoming in contributing to the utility performance. And also one of the instruments that we use is to create communities of practice within our projects, but also together with you and Guopa to share best practices and to connect people. And last, uh, the WOPs. I'm an individual, I'm a utility employee myself as well. As was mentioned in the introduction, I've been working with FIPAC in Mozambique for 5 years, but also for 3 years with Harare Water Department in Zimbabwe. So WOPs, working in WOPs has also shaped my career, and I'm still using all the best practices, lessons learned, and my personal development that I experienced in working in those WOPs in my day-to-day career and also in my personal life. Thank you. I'm handing over to Manuel.
Yes, thank you, Tuan. Hello, everyone. My name is Manuel Tayara. I work as a project officer at VEI in the Netherlands. I'm 40 years of age and I've been working in the drinking water sector for around 15 years now. As a project officer, I carry out various activities. For example, I support the regional and the project managers from VEI in general project management. And also I organize information and training sessions for the VEI short-term experts. We try to describe the best practices from our projects and contribute to the communities of practice for the Waterworks program. Today, I will be the one to interview five water experts from different WOPs. So I would like to ask everyone to quickly introduce yourself. Please tell something about where you live, where do you work, what's your field of expertise, and perhaps something else you would like to mention about yourself. Just quickly, 1-2 minutes to introduce. We have five water experts. I would like to start with Alfonsina.
Thank you, Manuel.
Yes.
My name is Alfonsina Ntibingwa from Arusha, Tanzania. I'm a Waterworks YEP alumni. I work in Arusha Urban Water Supply and Sanitation Authority to improve water quality. For the past 3 years, I've been working on different roles, including water quality, GIS, and network extensions. I enjoy sports and traveling. Thanks.
Great. Great to hear, Alfonsina. Very nice. We also have Rukia, also from Tanzania.
Yes, thank you, Manuel. My name is Rukia Selemani Yange. I am based in the eastern part of Africa, working in Mwanza region in Tanzania. I've been working with a water authority called Mawasa, but we are working in a partnership with Vitensa. And mainly I was involved in a lot of laws, but mainly I'm working on network extension because I'm water and sanitation engineer. I'm working in network extension, but also I'm working in GIS and hydraulic modeling. Thank you. Yeah.
Great. Very interesting topics. Thank you very much, Rukia. We also have from Ethiopia, Mr. Eyob Bekele.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Iyo Bakala. I am from Ethiopia. I work with FI as a young expert, and I've been working for the last 2 weeks with FI. It's been an exposure for me to join um, FI and water sector. As you know, as you may know, I my background was civil engineering, and I've been working in several utility works in connection, maybe some to list, a billing analysis with my mentor Manuel, and and some works related to non-revenue water, and I got so many exposures, and I love sport, but I don't have that time to do so right now. Yeah, this is me in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you, Eyob. Very nice that you are here, all the way from Ethiopia. Thank you. Also, we have Mr. Andy Smith. Can you please unmute?
Apologies for that.
Okay.
Lost that button for a moment. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy Smith. I am the Smart Water Strategy Manager at Anglian Water in the UK. Anglian Water is the largest geographical water company within the UK. I've worked in the water industry both in the United Kingdom and other countries of the world for over 35 years, mainly focused on network management, NRW reduction, network modeling and pressure management. I now lead a team of 45 subject matter experts focused on developing the smart water system of the future. So really looking at what the companies of the future will be now. I also have the pleasure of leading the distribution work stream on the Beacon project, which is our WOP, which is a unique 15-year water operation partnership in Lahan in Nepal between Anglian Water, its wider alliance community, WaterAid, local water operators, and the government of Nepal. And the objective of that project is to develop and demonstrate holistic solutions that work across communities, local governments, utilities, and ultimately contributes towards Nepal's journey towards achieving sustainable goal number 6. The project actually focuses on water security, safe, clean drinking water, sanitation with dignity, sustainable fecal sludge management, but most importantly, it's about creating a legacy that grows. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. Great to have you here. A lot of experience here, so that's really nice. Thank you.
No problem.
Last but not least, we have Mr. Patrick Kayisi.
Yeah, thank you, Manuela, and thanks everyone who is participating. By the name's Engineer Patrick Kaizi. I work for Ministry of Water and Environment under the Eastern Umbrella of Water and Sanitation. My major role at my office, I coordinate projects that are being implemented by our development partners, and one of them I would say it's EU WOPs that I'm taking on as my new role also. Eastern Umbrella of Water and Sanitation is one of the 6 regional water utilities established by Ministry of Water and Environment, and its role is to support operation and maintenance in small operation and maintenance of piped water systems in small towns and rural growth centers. We cover around 34 districts in the eastern region of Uganda with over 58 piped water schemes that we are supporting to ensure sustainability. We have a total of about 16,300 connections with over 98 water sources and with a total of 1,780 kilometers of pipe network covering over 900 villages with over 500,000 beneficiaries, I would say, that we are serving in our area of operation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Very interesting. That's really interesting information. So if we look at this session, we have here 5 water experts. Thank you for introducing yourself. The topic of this session is how can a WOP boost your career as a water professional? With that in the back of your mind, I would like to ask you all a few questions. First question I have for you is, what does the WOP mean to you, to your daily work, and to your professional and personal development? And could you tell a little bit something about that? I would like to start with Andy. Could you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, thanks for that. So yeah, during my career, I've been involved in quite a number of amazing projects. However, the Beacon project, which I just described, is by far the most rewarding thing I've ever been part of. To be part of a team that is really focusing in on changing people's lives forever is truly humbling and something I reflect on a daily basis. When it comes to my sort of daily working or my sort of weekly working, we have regular weekly catch-up calls with the Nepal team, and that's actually one of the highlights of my week. All of the people who work on the project are not just colleagues now, but they're friends. And those relationships have developed over the last 3 years and are really based on open collaboration, trust, and this passion that we all have and share to actually make a difference. And the opportunity personally for me to share my experience, obviously, of working in the industry for many years and actually looking at different challenges from what I experience in my normal day job is really rewarding. And personally, I learn something every time I go on that call. So from a continual development point of view, for me, absolutely fantastic. When I look at it from my sort of professional development, when we started this partnership, I've increased my technical knowledge around water resources management, water treatment, and also managed to develop stronger links with my supply chain partners who we've found are only too willing to actually support this unique initiative. So I think personally, I've been in the industry now for nearly 38 years, and it's just so rewarding to be able to give something back. And actually, when I look at sort of how my career will develop as I come towards retirement, it's encouraging me to probably do more volunteer work when I retire in terms of this sector. So ultimately, a fantastic thing and a privilege to be involved in.
It's great to hear your passion, Andy, especially after such a long time of working in the business and still being that enthusiastic. It's really inspiring to hear. Thank you.
It's refreshing, is the only way I would say it. So
yeah, good. So, Mr. Patrick Kaisi, when you hear Andy answering that question, what does the WOP mean to him and his daily work? You find similarities also in that?
Yeah, sure. But on a broader perspective, I must mention that most of our nations have subscribed to the UN Congress, whereby we are supposed to meet certain targets like the SDG 6. So you realize that our nations, through engaging into different partnerships, they find all sorts of ways to get resources and provide services to the people, most especially water and sanitation services. So through regulation, through local governments, through service providers, civil society organizations, and the communities, you realize that with the service provision, it so happens that the services must be available. You must have infrastructure in place to provide these services, and at the same time, we must have human resource capacity to be able to convey these services to to the communities. Eastern Umbrella of Water and Sanitation, as earlier mentioned, in our services and our mode of operation, we operate scheme-specific water tariff structures to ensure that communities in rural growth centers and small towns can access uh, clean water and sanitation services. So with these low tariff structures, you realize that more than often the demand for social services outweighs our rate of um, capital investment to meet the demands. So the WOPs come at a time where we're expecting to at least have on-time mutual benefits through knowledge exchange, work method advancements, benchmarking, improvement in governance, as well as the cross-cutting issues that equate to equity and inclusion. So with that, I believe, and for the past years I've been in service, I would say, I might not say 30 years, me, I'm just making 13 years. I believe EWOPs bring an opportunity to us, and we believe through that knowledge exchange, we shall be able to optimize our resources such that we can meet the overwhelming demand that we cannot meet by just doing the investments. Thank you very much.
Great to hear how you think about WOPs. It's like you said, working together is so important, and have an integral approach together. That is really important. Thank you. So, Alfonsina, when you hear these two gentlemen talking about passion about their work, what do you think about it? What does a WOP mean to you?
Thank you. To me, WOP means three things. Although there are many things, but I would like to talk about three things: learn, develop, and impact. Learn, I mean like learning from fellow colleagues in YEP program, as well as those involved in WOP and short termers abroad. So once I learn something from them, let's say a subject on reverse osmosis technology, I receive that knowledge and transfer to my co-workers at Arusha Urban Water Supply. So together we develop something to make improvement within our utility. So after developing and find some innovative ways to work so that our utility can be in a better position. So we look into a bigger picture. What is the impact we want to bring at our society? So for the water utilities to supply water, clean and safe water to the consumers. So in overall, through this work, we learn from our fellows, like how are the Dachi short-termers do their work, why do they have small non-revenue water. So through this all, we are able, as for me, I'm able to transfer the skills to the utility, and together we can reach our missions and visions. Thanks.
Nice to hear, Alfonsina. Because you work at Arusha Urban Water Supply,
Yes.
and then just a little further away, you have Rukia in Mwanza, and you two also work together, right?
Yes, we are working together.
Yeah. So, Rukia, how is that going for you?
I see like work provided new opportunity in Mwanza because within VEI we have this component of providing water, clean water to poor areas, and it has been very eye-opener to us because prior to this we didn't have that approach, like providing water to poor. So it has been a service providing component for us, but apart from providing it to Propua, we also had a chance to extend the network within the authority, which brings like a lot of opportunity to other customers to continue connecting water within the water authority. So, but this came from WOP. Apart from this, like due to peer-to-peer knowledge sharing, we can say that it's built our capacity. It's built the capacity of the bay workers within Tanzania. Apart from it, also the utility workers, because they get a chance to learn from STEs Apart from it, also they get a chance to go to the Netherlands to learn from IHE, and also we are learning each other because we have that platform of YEP within WOP, and through that platform we are learning a lot of skills, soft skills, which helps us to improve our personal and as well as professional life. So it has been very good to us. Yeah.
Nice. It's really great to hear that how much your work means to you all. Thank you very much, Rukia.
Yeah.
Aop, you're the last one to ask the question. What does a WOP mean to you? You and me, we also work together.
Yeah,
We are working on several topics.
yeah.
So what does the WOP mean to you, Aop?
Well, work for me bring me the opportunity to work for the water sector, which is where I started my new career, and it gives me the chance to work with the most experienced managers, colleagues, expertise around the world. It is where I started developing my international career. It is a perfect platform where I can expand my network and also see what's really behind the supply of water, just rather than my previous perspective where water is just being pumped. But it is very much rewarding to involve in the water sector and see all the challenge and be part of as a solution for all the problems by working with expertise around the world, and where it helped me also grow professionally, personally, and contribute to the utilities in Ethiopia, and even more. As you may know, knowledge sharing is not just the one thing; it is both ways. So it is a rewarding opportunity for me. Also.
Great. Good to hear. And I totally agree with you, Aop. I work with you, and it creates awareness of WOP.
Yeah,
So that's really nice of working together.
yeah.
And if you look back on the WOP, yeah, and the work until you have done now, what was the most valuable learning experience for you? Which activity have you enjoyed the most? I would like to ask Alfonsina, what was for you the most valuable learning experience until now? Can you give an
Thanks.
example?
Thanks, Manuel. I really had a lot of learning experiences, but something that I found very unique, if I compare from other organizations that do not have WOP, is that I get to have three people who are very important in my professional and personal life, who are the coach, supervisor, and mentor. These three people really have contributed, have bring impact in my work, as the young experts do provide a coach who together you develop a personal development plan, both in technical skills and soft skills. So for 2 years, I've been adjusting the technical skills I want to develop and the soft skills I want to develop so that I can contribute to the goals of the utility. Also, I have a mentor till now. He advises me, Renda van der Brink. He advises me on improvements on my work, both professionally and personally, wherever he's available, wherever I have something to discuss on the work, as well as the supervisor on the job. He has a task of following my performance, and he can advise maybe I need to develop more on these skills, and can recommend me which topic should I go to study, or ask short-term experts on these subjects to interact with me. Though COVID has hit, but I have chance to work with short-termers online. So this has been a very valuable thing I've learned through WOP.
Yeah, it really sounds very valuable to have a coach to help you and guide you, give you advice. You can learn from each other, working together. Thank you very much, Alfonsina. How about you, Rukia? Do you have a similar experience?
Yeah. Also, I had the same experience as Alfonsina. But also adding up to that, we had a chance to acquire different trainings within Netherlands and some of them outside in Tanzania. And those training mainly on soft skills, because we have to discover ourselves about personal development plan, which was like an eye opener for us, because prior to WOP we didn't manage to have trainings like that. So from WOP we acquired all of that. We had different trainings about our soft skills to know how we can develop, how we can know our strengths and how we can live with it, and how to know our weaknesses, and after knowing our weaknesses, how we can make it stronger, how we can live with other people regardless of their weaknesses. So I think from YEP and WOP we managed to know all of that. We were trained in so many ways, but apart from it we had different excursion, which some of them were in the Netherlands. We had a chance to visit Vitens to see the production plant. We had a chance to visit the evidence also. So through all of that excursion, we managed to see where we can improve as a water utility in Tanzania, and which STE, I mean short-term expertise, we can also request from the Netherlands to come in Tanzania to continue training us as peer-to-peer learning lessons. Yeah. So I believe that from WOP we managed to do all of that. My skills are somehow improved now, and we are focusing more on the future and also helping other people in achieving what we know. So that was so good for us.
I can tell that you are very enthusiastic, Rukia, about the WOP. It's really sounds amazing, very
Yes,
nice, and you have a
sure.
lot of topics, and I think you can talk about this all day long, huh?
Of course.
Yeah, really nice, really nice. Well, we don't have a lot of time in this session, so I'm really curious about some other topics, especially for example, Patrick. Has the WOP helped you to extend, for example, your professional network? Have you developed new professional connections or maybe even friendships?
Yeah, I want to take actually this opportunity to extend my gratitude to our partners, that is Welsh Water in UK, and then Water Aid UK and Water Aid Uganda. Well, with WOPS, what I can say is that it has helped me personally to extend, to enlighten my way of thinking, given the fact that we've been moving on speed to do planning for our interventions, issues to do with the fundraising, issues to do with non-revenue water management, issues to do with optimization of the available resources to see to it that we are able to minimize losses, utilize the available resources, and then meet our expectations. uh, it's something I can loudly talk about, and in a special way. I don't know whether he's listening or not, but I would love to extend my gratitude to Rob Fuller of UK, who has been in, whom we've been in engagement with since 2018 as our mentor. Thank you very much.
Well, I hope Mr. Fuller will see this, if not now or maybe later in the future on YouTube. It's good to hear. It's really inspiring, Patrick. Thank you. So, Andrew, Andy, if my apologies.
No
Has
problem.
the WOP changed your view or your perspective on, for example, your future career? You mentioned you already worked, I think, 39 years in the water business, as you mentioned. Has the WOP experience positively contributed to your career in any way?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I think when you reflect on your career, I think it's really important. So as I come towards the end of my career, I sort of already touched on the fact that I will seriously consider what I do when I retire, and actually probably volunteer with regards to water aid, to impart sort of knowledge and my experiences. As my career stands now, in the last 3 years since I've been involved in this partnership, um, as I alluded to, it's probably the most rewarding part of my career. Um, you get to feel really good every day when you take that time to reflect. And I think that's something that comes with maturity, and actually seeing younger water professionals grow, under your sort of mentorship is really important and really rewarding as well. So, if anyone is in any doubt whether they should get involved in a partnership, if you want to speak to me, I will hopefully convince you that your time will be repaid a million times in terms of what you get back from it.
You sound like really a WOP promoter. Perfect.
Yeah,
I have to keep you in my memory for the future.
no problem.
Great, great, great. Thank you. So, just to make a bridge to our next topic, I have one final question I would like to ask Eop. Eop, would an online community of practice, a COP, in which you can interact with your peers, professional engaged in WOPs around the globe, can you participate in knowledge sharing events? Can it be of interest to you? What is your experience with that?
Yes, the community of practice, from my experience, we have a community of practice. I joined the FI community of practice for non-revenue water, which you may know, Renchan. Uh, Really, his knowledge sharing was a reference for me, where I dig down to find more about non-revenue water. Such kind of platforms really is a platform where you can really ask something from your peers, your colleagues, and also at the same time give what you have in hand. The knowledge is nothing if you don't share it. And I think the community of practice, as my perspective, is where you just share your knowledge and you pass to the next generation, and that generation also will build his knowledge on your experience. Will not have to go with the hassle that you had already gone, and it will just start building upon that acquired knowledge, and it's a perfect platform. Yeah.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, that's a topic where the next speaker, Ranjan, he will zoom in on. I would like to thank all of you already for sharing your experiences. Alfonsina, Rukia, Eop, Andy, and Patrick. Thank you very much. We are going to hand over to Ranjan. He's going to take over and zoom in on that community of practice where Eop was talking about. Ranjan?
Yep, thank you. I hope you can hear me clearly and you can also see my screen. If not,
Yes, loud and clear.
please let me know. Thanks for these inspirational stories of you as individuals. This really resonates with me, having worked for 10 years in Kenya, both for NGOs, but later for VAI in a water operator partnership with two large utilities in country, but also with the umbrella organization, Patrick, in Kenya, the Water Service Provider Association. And peer-to-peer learning is something that's close to my heart. And I'm glad that from head office now at VAI in Utrecht in the Netherlands, I'm able to still fulfill a role in facilitating online knowledge exchange between practitioners like you and like me. That's very inspirational just to hear how you are progressing, what you're learning, what you're struggling with. And I would just like to highlight some experience we have within the Waterworks program in establishing an online community of practice, and also how we, with WOP, are looking to the future, how we can further develop that agenda together with other, of course, like-minded partners. The Waterworks program is a 15-year program that's ongoing between 10 Dutch water utilities. VAI represents 5 of those, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and 39 utilities across the globe, supporting, of course, the performance improvement of water utilities to achieve ultimately sustainable SDG 6 impact as well. So operational performance towards SDG 6 impact, of course. Peer-to-peer support we've talked about, supporting the mobilization of investment finance to be able to scale up that SDG impact. enabling environment. Tuan alluded to it as well. But this knowledge management across utilities is something that I'm closely involved together with Manuel, among others. And that's the focus of this session. So a bit more on the community of practice as an online platform. Here you have a snapshot of the current community of practice coordinators. We've got 9 thematic areas that are covered under this online community of practice. Here you have some basic information, but you see it's work of practitioners like you and me. We have currently 9 thematic areas that we're covering, both technically oriented, but also leadership development oriented. You see towards the bottom, which are covering these areas of expertise, and of course we are engaging with each other on these topics in relation to specific WOP needs. The latter two, you can see leadership and partnership, project management, of course, are also focusing on soft skills, where the others are a little bit more technically oriented. Yeah, so it's important to show that it's a wide range, and of course many of them touch on each other, and therefore it's important not to think in silos here. But many experts are involved in one or more, of course, COPs based on their background and area of interest. Under Waterworks Phase 2, there will be also more attention for financial performance, specifically financial management, sanitation, often not getting the attention it deserves, and the enabling environment specifically, because we know how difficult it is to make progress, isn't it, within a WOP at times on thematic topics where external actors and factors that are influencing performance improvement are also undermined by developments from the outside world, outside of the utility itself. Community of practice, I'll be zooming in on the platform that we're using. Of course, for a community of practice to be relevant online, it's important that there's something to get, isn't it? Updates on what WOPs are achieving, news flashes, but also very concrete products, tools that are being developed, are being replicated. I think Ayop, you alluded to the NRW Masterclass, which I think Alfonsina, you also participated in at some stage. We are shaping a kind of a masterclass program together, and we are updating it based on new experiences. We're updating the tools that we're using and sharing. But we're also, every few months are meeting online to hear from a WOP team how they are progressing on NRW reduction based on all those developed and shared products, isn't it? So that's content. So content is important, I think, for an online community of practice to work. If there's something to get, I am interested, isn't there? But at the end of the day, it's not about the content alone, right? There can be great content on the internet. We can find lots of stuff nowadays, right? So how do we ensure that it's relevant for me? That means we need to connect, isn't it, as practitioners? And we try and do that through events that are organized at COP level, but we're also doing that individually, isn't it? So currently, the community of practice within Waterworks has about 350 practitioners. Question is, are you there? I know some of you are, Ayop and Alfonsina. We've interacted, among others, on that. I want to just zoom in on what are the key lessons learned so far, as we also reflect on the future under Waterworks Phase 2, which we hoping to start with ministry funding next year. But also in our collaboration with WOPA, we're looking towards further globalizing these COPs beyond a program alone. So that's something we're exploring together with them and other like-minded partners. And well, my message maybe here is to you is the COP is the place to be to boost your career and your network, to really get in touch with other practitioners, to hear how they're doing, to learn based on demonstrated experiences in WOPs elsewhere. But of course, it requires time and investment as well. Looking at the COP as it is currently, the community of practice, there's 2 elements. There's on the one hand a SharePoint site that we use, and you can see at the top here, the 9 thematic areas are captured there. What you see is a screenshot of the NRW COP. Whereby it's important. Here you can find documentation, and this is not documentation for reading, but you see here on the left an organogram that shows what are the key steps, let's say, on an NRW roadmap, from doing good assessments to implementing a well-developed comprehensive NRW strategy and plan. So that roadmap, let's say, is visualized here, but you see that these folders these steps in the roadmap are reflected also in the folder structure on the COP. So when it comes to material that you use in these different steps, including tools and examples, it's all captured here in the structure that you can see. So there's, for example, training materials there. We have a 4-day NRW masterclass, which you can download there as well. Use it for in your own WOP specific context. There's the templates that you can use. Also examples of filled-in templates. So how has that been put into practice? But also, of course, the webinars that we organize. There's video streams that you can access and hear firsthand how a utility X, a colleague, has made progress. And you can also view that later. You can of course share it with colleagues who have not viewed it or were not part of the last webinar. It's all captured there. The material is there. And of course, other resource material, standard operating procedures for doing very specific things like night flow measurements to quantify your physical losses, for example. There's some examples there. So this gives you an idea of the content that is available for those that are on the platform. But of course, the community interaction is key at the end of the day to make the content relevant, isn't it? To reflect on how you're applying it. We've got about 40 project managers who are engaged in different WOPs there with about 300 thematic experts, and they all participate in one or more of the COPs. Of course, some are active, some are not. What are the kind of activities that we organize there? Face-to-face meetings, for example, the low-income consumer COP, in which I think Rukia and Alfonsini, you are also involved in, met in Nairobi to share experiences on how you can really boost the low-income consumer service delivery agenda. But also face-to-face meetings in the Netherlands by a team of asset management experts who are also fueling, let's say, the content of the COP site. But also webinars. I'm personally coordinating the NRW COP that has 75 members currently. We have 3-4 monthly webinars that are hosted by one of the WOP partners, and in which the NRW team, presents progress they're making reference to material used on the SharePoint site, but also helping to further shape it. But of course, on the day-to-day interaction is crucial as well, right? You can have these 3-4 monthly meetings, but we need to be interacting with peers on a day-to-day basis, right? With the questions that we are struggling with today. So the social media there, it plays a role. Of course, we've got a WhatsApp group, for example. But at the end of the day, when we look at these COPs, 400 experts, project managers involved, it's important to keep in mind that this typical 1991 rule applies for all online platforms. We've got, you can see at the top here, let's say out of all those 400 users, you've got usually a very small group, 1%, it's maybe exaggerated a bit here, are heavy contributors. You've got a slightly larger group, let's say the 9% are intermittent contributors. And you've got a very large group of what is typically referred to in the online community jargon as lurkers, those that are benefiting from let's say the online content, but are not contributing per se or are engaging in dialogue, which is also okay, right? Because we're there to share it with the outside world. But of course, if we want to inspire each other, we don't want to be talking to the same individuals each time, right? We want to hear from other colleagues, not only success stories, we want to hear also what they've learned, right? So we would like to see and actually challenge you also in considering to join the COPs to, of course, get engaged at the top of the triangle and contribute, so that as we grow, we have more to share and more to develop by a larger number of individuals. So the long-term vibrance and sustainability, looking at the lessons learned now of knowledge transfer, I think hinges on, we've come to discover strong community management. On the one hand, developing and sustaining relevant content means a lot of interaction with the community on what is relevant for them, right? But also peer-to-peer interaction on one-on-one, social media, stimulating that. So it requires good moderation and time, therefore, of course, commitment. We've also come to discover that while we initially started with mostly, let's say, experts from the Netherlands who are engaged in WOPs on the ground within the WOPs, we said, no, we need to shift the weight towards, the local utility partners, have the NRW experts who on a day-to-day basis are working on NRW reduction, for example, right? engaged in the community and driving the agenda, not the other way around, because the short-term experts come and go, but who's there achieving sustainable results on the ground? It's you, as and we've heard a few examples, inspiring examples today. Of course, getting voluntary contributions is key. We've talked about that 1991 rule. It's important to stimulate that. But of course, also look at sustainable financing models. And we are looking to collaborate with GOPA and IWA, AFA, and other partners in further shaping this agenda, because of course we don't want to think in programs, right, in silos. The WOP community is out there, it's global, and that's our intention. So a quick wrap up there. Waterworks intends to grow these COPs internationally with GOPA and other like-minded partners. We've had interactions with WaterAid as well in the past, knowing what they're doing. I've worked with them on the ground as well. Maybe we can further broaden that and include them as well. We're currently testing, together also with GOPA, the workplace platform that is being used, that they're currently using, which has some nice, let's say, combined content and social media functionality in one. The disadvantage of SharePoint is that there's no social media inbuilt, so you've got separate WhatsApp groups. The integration is limited, the functionality is limited. So we're exploring that to see if that could be something we scale up together. That's ongoing. But to close off, and before we make a bridge to GOPA, who's working on this and shaping this up, I want to emphasize we are jointly the COP, right? So the success of the COP depends on your and my contribution as individuals, and we hope that this inspires you to also connect. A bridge to the GOPA team. Stay with us for the next presentation, just to learn more about the global COP community and how you can join also moving forward. That's it from my side. Thank you. And
Thank you.
I see just now that I see my screen again, I see that Abu Bakr has joined us and also has a good connection. Maybe Abu Bakr, in a few sentences, you can actually explain how the COP has been relevant for your day-to-day work, just with a few tangible examples before we move on to Veronica. I don't know if you're able to get through, Abu Bakr, with your mic, and if not, you can join at the Q&A session at the end, also to share your perspective. That's also a possibility. So please let us know in the chat whether you're able to access the audio stream or not.
Relevant for your day-to-day work, just a few tangible examples before we
Okay, definitely. Thank you, Rajan, for all those inputs. I want to emphasize on 3 parts about the COP. The first one is that COP for me is a great place for communication and exchange. Precisely, I discovered MNF tool. So that is a minimum net flow tool during a webinar. And then I get access to the tool because it is an Excel sheet. MNF is water loss. It's a way to estimate the water loss in a distribution area. And then I downloaded the documents. I applied it in our DMA in Bamako. And then that is a good transition for me to go to the second part of the COP I want to highlight, is the fact that you can ask for guidance and questions. So I call out to experts, precisely one expert from WaterNet and also Rajan. They commented the result of our MNF tool. So the results were in line with the conclusion of the method that we have done previously. So that was really good, and I had a good understanding. And finally, for me, one good point is that it is self-paced learning, because all of us had some really spare time during COVID. But sometimes it's difficult with the workload to really take the most out of the webinars. So the videos are available to download. So I download videos and I watch the videos slowly to cover it really fully in a week, so that I can be able to take extensive notes, and also to go to see in literature what is said in order to have really a great insight about the subject. So mainly those are the points I wanted to highlight about the COP. Back to you, Rajan.
Thanks, Abubakar. Thanks for sharing that. How you're practically using it. That's our whole intention here. We're not there to keep ourselves alive, but we're there to be supporting the WOP teams on the ground. So thanks for that inspirational example, Veronica.
Thanks a lot, Ranjan, as well, for sharing the Waterworks COP's experience and your learnings. Of course, these learnings
Veronica, you're on mute.
Oh, my apologies for that. Sorry. Can you confirm if you see my screen?
Yes, and hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Franzi. And so once again, thank you so much, Ranjan, for sharing the Waterworks COP's experience and also your learnings, because these learnings has informed the GWOPA's plans and vision for what I will be presenting you today, which is the Global WOPS community. It is a great pleasure for me to be here with all of you today. My name is Veronica Sojkova. I'm the Digital and Community Support Officer at GWOPA. So let me start. Grouping people who share a common concern, set of problems, passion, or interest in a topic is not something new. Also, the concept of communities of practice, connecting people in a spirit of knowledge sharing and collaboration, has been there for some time already. However, it has really gained prominence in the past years as individuals and organizations realize the need to work together in new ways to address the global scale of contemporary problems and challenges. And the very same belief lies at the very heart of WOPs, and I believe is a shared value of everyone in the WOPs community. Indeed, we are a community already, and we are many. You can see over 380 WOPs recorded globally, with several national and regional platforms established over the last decade. It's all of us, all the individuals involved in WOPs. Being a global community, however, means that the individuals engaged in WOPs, although working on the same topics and challenges and through the same shared principles, might at the time feel very distant and scattered. After numerous discussions and consultations with partners, there was an identified need to create a space where the global WOPs community could connect and where all the individuals could engage and flourish. Namely, the following needs and wishes were identified for a community that could offer a space for an easy communication and exchange and learning within and across the projects in all regions and in multiple languages. As Iobes has pointed out before, knowledge is nothing if you don't share it. So a place where the dissemination of existing knowledge products could happen more easily, where a solution developed in Argentina could be introduced to and applied in Mali, where also co-creation of new tools and solutions could take place, where, for example, the regional platform in Asia could set up and coordinate the work with a platform in Caribbean. Also a space that could allow for more networking and matchmaking options, where individuals could connect with interested parties and partners and make new WOPs arise. There was also a need for space that could allow for peer learning skills and capacity development of individuals between and beyond the WOPs projects and programs, and most importantly, a space that could unite all WOP practitioners, whether working independently on projects or linked to a WOP platform or program. GWOPA, through the virtue of its positioning, has started efforts to initiate such community space, acting as its hosting agency. However, although GWOPA wishes to host and to facilitate the community, in the spirit of operating as an alliance and working closely together with its partners, we invite all the partners, WOP platforms and programs to co-own the community together with us, because that's the only way how we can ensure that it is a place truly owned by and serving the whole wide WOP alliance. So how do we envision this community? First and foremost, a community that will connect all WOP practitioners from around the globe, including the interested water and sanitation professionals, WOP supporters, and all of us, all the panelists from today as well, to join forces towards securing access to water and sanitation to all. We see it as a place that will intensify the peer learning, knowledge sharing, and capacity development and make it accessible to us all, but also as a means through which the individuals will be empowered to connect and to learn from one another beyond WOPs, in a way that can accelerate innovations and co-creations through thematic hubs. And most importantly, as mentioned, a community that is co-owned and a place we can all benefit from and contribute to. And for this, we have prepared a short introduction video to hopefully make you as excited about this initiative as we are. Having access to water and sanitation services is a human right and a basic to have a healthy and fulfilling life. The UN Habitat's Global Water Operators Partnerships Alliance is the global center to help water and sanitation utilities help one another in serving their communities better and sustainably. The alliance has grown to be a strong and fruitful water and sanitation solidarity network. The idea of the GWOPA community was born through the need for a space that allows for an easy communication and exchange, and so we created it. The community unites all WOP platforms and programs in one place. It brings together and fosters interaction between expert partners and WOP practitioners and offers a dedicated online platform for technical discussions, exchange, and co-creation of new tools and solutions for the daily operation of utilities. The community is open to WOP practitioners, people working in the water and sanitation sector, and of course everyone interested in supporting WOPs. So, what can you do as a member of the GWOPA community? You can connect with peers and network with water and sanitation practitioners across the globe. Engage in discussions and meet your future WOP partners. Ask questions, share your challenges and solutions, and learn from your peers. Stay up to date on WOP-related topics and project opportunities. Join us in accelerating actions towards the SDG 6 and securing access to sustainable water services to more people. Joining the community is easy. Go to www.gvopa.org and register to become an individual member of GWOPA. We hope to meet you as a member of our community soon. Hello. So, what can you as an individual expect in this community? Although it has been briefly touched upon in this short video, I would like to elaborate a bit more in here because the community will have a couple of layers and a different potential uses. So first of all, a common space for everyone. So this is the space where the young professionals are mixing with the more experienced ones and where they can learn from each other and work together on relevant knowledge products applicable for different working processes. Because as we heard today, knowledge sharing is a two-way process. This is a space that is facilitated by GWOPA with interactive polls and quizzes, and we will do our best to make it to make you learn something new in a fun way. This is a space where you will get the latest news and updates and be offered the training and capacity development opportunities. It is worth mentioning, as an example, a future WOPS online learning program developed together with IHE, the Delft Institute for Water Education, and together with the WOP platforms and programs. This interactive program, after which one will receive a certification, will run in parallel and be very closely related to this community. Also, a space where voluntary peer-to-peer coaching program will take place. Anyone can offer to voluntarily coach a professional who would like to be coached in a specific position. And also a space where you can, as an individual, really maximize your networking opportunities and where the facilitated WOP matchmaking will happen. On the other hand, and similarly to the Waterworks COPs, expert moderated thematic groups. The community will host expert-moderated thematic communities of practice that will cover topics relevant to water and sanitation utilities worldwide. You can think of topics such as sanitation, utility commercial operations, services to low-income communities, climate adaptation, and so forth. Within the COPs, the exchange will be centered around the topics and will act as the bridge between the theory and the practice. So they will really serve to promote closer linkages to ensure that the theory and the normative work is guided by the operational activities, and vice versa, that the development of knowledge products and methodologies is informed by the results and the lessons learned in the field. If you are a practitioner working on these themes, young professional or a student who wants to connect with people and bridge the theory with practice, this would be the place for you. This is where the more technical discussions will take place, where you can learn from and share existing best practices, share your know-hows, and learn the know-hows of others. The community is being built around certain values, and these values are aligned with the WOP Code of Conduct and GWOPA's guiding principles. And this is a starting initiative, but although it is a starting initiative, it exists already. And you can join the community through GWOPA website by becoming a GWOPA member. The process is fast and easy, and I encourage you all to do so right after this session. As we said in the previous short video, we needed to start somewhere and start with creating a space where the community could meet and flourish. And considering the global reach of the existing WOP community, this needed to be an online space. We have set up an online platform that you can access on your desktop or through your mobile application. And the next short video will give you an idea on how the platform looks like and how to join and what should be the first steps you do. Hello, this is a brief introduction to Workplace, the online platform for the GWOPA community. You have registered to become GWOPA member. We have assessed your application. You have received an inclusive invitation to join our online community of practitioners. And now you have successfully activated your profile and found yourself on our Workplace platform. We have established a profile for you in the language you have indicated as your personal preference. The first thing you should do is to go to your profile and fill in the information about yourself. You should do so to be able to utilize the community as a truly connecting and networking tool. Once you have filled in your information, do not forget to include your bio, where you can tell us more about your WOP experience. You can then go to your settings and adjust them to your preferences. Going back to the newsfeed, this is your personalized homepage. Here you will find the latest updates and information on the topics and groups that you are following. You can engage with the content by liking, commenting, and engaging in the discussion. You can see all the members of our community. To connect with someone, you can click on their profile, where you can see their latest activity, find out more about the person, or simply connect by dropping them a message in the chat or having a call. On the left side, you can see the groups you are a member of. Groups represent our communities of practice. We might have assigned you to some group based on your WOP program participation. To find out more groups, go to Groups, Suggested Groups, and join the ones that are of your interest. As part of the groups, we encourage you to be active, take part in the exchange and discussions, learning and knowledge sharing opportunities. To find out more about the platform, go to Knowledge Library and see the Community User Manual. We also encourage you to familiarize yourself with the Community Code of Conduct. Thank you for joining. We are looking forward to engaging with you, and please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any questions. So I would like to conclude my presentation with saying that GWOPA is very excited to start this initiative and to host the Global WOPS community. Individuals are not new for WOPS, and it has been very inspiring to hear the personal experiences of the panelists. However, sometimes the important role individuals play in WOPs and the important role WOPs can play for individuals and for their professional and personal development is not always receiving enough attention. And we do believe that the global WOPs community can help to change this. We are very, very happy for the collaboration with Waterworks program on this initiative. And once again, we invite all partners, platforms, programs, and WOP supporting organizations to join us to make the community a prosperous place to all of us as individuals involved in WOPs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Veronica, and thank you, Reintian and Manuel and all the speakers. It was a great pleasure to sit here and listen to you and watch the session. It was, I think, one of my favorite sessions in this Congress so far, and there were many. So the good news is not only that these great communities we have, but also that we have 15 more minutes to discuss a bit again and go back into a little panel discussion because we have heard the panelists earlier on their WOP experience, on their appreciation for these partnerships, and right now we would like to ask them again for their feedback on this global community. Maybe starting with AOP. I would like to hear from you after you've seen the presentation and watched these great videos from Veronica. How do you see yourself as an individual or your organization as well, engaging with the global WOP community?
Well, what I like about this global community uh, um, is it is purely based on peer learning, peer relationship, and what is actually being implemented by my organization is like there is no contractual agreement between the WOPs, but it is more on the willingness and the identified gaps where the mentor will step in to help the mentee and co-create knowledge that could uh, enhance the operation and overall transform the organization performance, where the organization will be able to uh, deliver service in a sustainable manner. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, I can definitely subscribe to that. It is easier than setting up a kind of a longer term WOP maybe, and it's faster and less expensive, and you don't have to enter contract agreements and all that. So the individual aspect is a bit more flexible. And also from my side, I can testify. I have the app on my phone, and it's kind of the WOP community at my fingertips, and I can reach out within seconds to the colleagues. Maybe someone else on the same question. Alfonsina, what do you see? How do you see yourself engaging in this platform? What do you think of what was presented, the Global WAPS community?
Yeah, thank you. What I like about this global WOP is that I get to connect with people. So for me, getting to connect with people and learn what others are doing in the industry, in the water industry, the lesson learned, even failures, anything that is shared can be beneficial to me, for which I enjoy mostly to transfer knowledge to my utility. So this, what I see myself in involving in this global is that I will benefit and my utility will also benefit. So, like what Ayob said in the previous interview, knowledge without sharing is somewhat useless. So, getting connected and learn and transfer the knowledge is really, I see myself bringing such impact.
Thanks. Yeah. Sorry, it was my connection was breaking. Thanks, Alfonsine. And that are also very important aspects you added there, especially I think we as young professionals and young expert have can benefit a lot from kind of learning from others' mistakes or failures, because then we can avoid stepping into the same ones or making the same ones. So I definitely also encourage that we have a safe space within the platform. We can have bilateral chats, we can have smaller groups, and also discuss about our big challenges or failures to help others. The next question, maybe towards Andy, or also on the first question, if you want to answer that. What do you think? What's the main added value for you for such a WOP global community?
I was actually just going to follow up on your point around the learning from other people's mistakes. So the work that we're currently doing in Nepal is really interesting because, you know, we've been managing NRW for a long period of time, and actually that's been quite a long journey in the UK. So what I don't want to do is actually for Nepal and the guys in Nepal to go through that long journey. If we can accelerate the learning and actually adopt newer technologies now rather than going through all the painful experiences we've had, I think it's a really valuable point. And this is the only way I think we're going to be able to accelerate towards sustainable goal number 6. The pace needs to increase if we're going to meet that outcome. And I think global partnerships are the way forward in achieving that, to be quite honest.
Yes, plus within the past 1.5 years, as painful as it was, the silver lining is that we've all become well acquainted with online interaction and installing many different apps and softwares, but we can connect globally within seconds, given there's the Wi-Fi or the mobile network. Maybe Rukia earlier said you could go on for hours and hours, so we have a bit less than 10 minutes now, but maybe this is also enough for you to let us know. What do you think is the main added value for such a global WOPS community? Is Rukia still with us?
Rukia has network issues. She left the meeting.
Okay, then maybe we can get her back. Otherwise, Patrick, let me turn to you. What do you think? How do you see the added value of the global WOPS community?
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, in my own perspective, what I see with the GWOP global community is creating change agents all around the world, in a sense that people of the same thinking that appreciate the fact that resources are not enough, but solutions are out there to ensure that at least everyone shares the available cake. I'm looking at a situation where people will be sharing innovations all around the globe. People will be appreciating challenges all around the globe. And at the same time, people will be tailoring solutions to their respective problems. That is what I pick on from the global work community. Thank you.
Thanks, Patrick. Really important point. And when you mentioned change agents, yes, we need them. We need many of those. But what I'm certain of is that all of you, everyone in this room and everyone who spoke today is already change agent. So that's why I want to reiterate Veronica's invitation to all of you to come and join the online platform as well. And it also touches upon the earlier raised points on the co-ownership. The the platform, if it's empty, nothing happens there. So the vibrancy and the usefulness of the platform really depends on the members and who's there. Sometimes it's sometimes it's 10%, sometimes it's more, but it really depends on active engagement. I've taken some short notes for a quick wrap up, and let me maybe do that right now so we can close on time today. Otherwise, if I don't see any hands raised, anyone wants to input urgent immediately, I will proceed to wrapping up.
Yes. Maybe
Yeah.
something to add on
Yes.
on the global community platform. Um, what Rentian has been saying was like to flip down the 1999 or some 90% to be on the higher side of contributing rather than taking all the information. It needs to be both. The flow should be on the both sides. So uh, it is going to be much more effective where much of the community participate in this platform and also acquire this, at the same time the knowledge and the experience of others. Yes. Yeah, back to you,
Yes,
Francis.
thank you. Thank you for this submission. This is a perfect segue into my short summary or the notes I try to put together for a bit of a wrap up and summary of this great session. And when I thought about it, I think I really have to say that this session had to me, a special spirit to it, which was kind of the spirit of appreciation and thankfulness to the privilege of being able to have these partnerships, because sometimes they are across long distances. And I think I saw also a spirit of our common values and goals that we have in trying to provide essential basic services. The session overall was very inspiring, especially to hear our peer young professionals, that these interactions, these exchanges, these partnerships are creating real opportunities for you. And I have 3 points as kind of key takeaway. First is a WOP gives young professionals an opportunity to meet experienced managers, and they can connect internationally and speak on international platforms like today as well. Second is that I think we all agreed on that, is that all panelists gained not only professionally, technically, but also personally. For example, WOP meetings were highlighted as the highlight of the week, or colleagues became friends, and that in general, a great level of trust has been created through the WOPs. And thirdly and lastly is that peer learning is a two-way street, and it is very rewarding. And if you're still not convinced of that, I suggest you meet with Andy over a cup of coffee and he can talk you through all the arguments again. And one sentence about the global WOPS community presented by Veronica, and thank you so much, Veronica, for these efforts of producing these very nice informative videos. I would like to circle back here to the beginning of the session where Toine, he said, we need utility employees to be engaged and interested in learning to improve utility services and performance. And I think that's the core of what we hope to achieve with this online community, is first that we raise your interest with all the functions and the thematic groups that you could find there. And second is that this platform can actually provide you an easy opportunity to get engaged, to connect, to get to know new people, and to get help. Last but not least, to kind of really wrap this up, I think we all know that such great sessions don't fall from the sky. So I would like to congratulate the organizers and the speakers for their great preparations and coordination and inputs here. With that, we close the session today. But as we have seen and heard, we will almost certainly see and hear each other again on the one or other platform. Thanks, everyone. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, and hope to see you again soon.
What? Already over?
No, we have plenty more options to continue the discussions and peer exchange beyond the Congress.
Tell me more. What are the options?
Well, SHIWOPA membership, for example. By becoming a member of SHIWOPA, everyone can connect to a global alliance of practitioners and experts. There are two ways of becoming a member. First, institutional members. Institutions can participate in SHIWOPA's assemblies and are eligible to run and vote in its International Steering Committee elections. Or second, individual members. Individuals can connect and engage with peers in the online SHIWOPA community. We have created a space that allows for networking and easy communication. Meet future WOP partners, stay up to date on project opportunities, and participate in peer-to-peer learning opportunities.
Sounds great. How can I join?
Simply go to www.shiwopa.org and register for free. If you want to know more, you can follow SHIWOPA on social media and subscribe to the newsletter. Thanks for joining the 4th Global WOPS Congress. We'll see you soon.